Ever wonder why it's so hard to resist your cravings or fight off your addictions? We've all wrestled with these invisible monsters, haven't we? They sneak up on us, often when we're at our most vulnerable. But imagine a different approach, an approach that doesn't involve a constant battle, but instead, a peaceful journey. Intrigued? What if there was a technique to help you ride out these urges, rather than trying to fight them off? Welcome to the world of urge surfing. Urge surfing is not a new wave in town. Rather, it's a mindfulness technique that can help you navigate through your cravings and addictions. Originating from the practice of mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, urge surfing is about understanding and observing your urges, not fighting them. Imagine an urge as a wave in the ocean. At first it's small and manageable, but it quickly grows in size and intensity. Many people try to fight these waves to push them away, but that often only makes them stronger. Urge surfing, on the other hand, encourages you to ride these waves. Instead of trying to suppress or ignore your cravings, you acknowledge and observe them. You allow yourself to feel the urge without giving into it, noticing how it changes and evolves over time. This process helps you to understand your cravings and ultimately to control them. Urge surfing is about riding the wave of your craving, not getting swept away by it. So how exactly do you surf these urges? Let's break it down. Urge surfing is a mindfulness technique you can learn and master with time. It's like learning to ride a bike. It may feel challenging at first, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes second nature. Now let's go through this step by step. Step 1. Recognize the urge. The first step in urge surfing is identifying the urge. Whether it's a craving for a sugary snack, a nicotine fix, or a compulsion to check your social media, recognize it for what it is. Say to yourself, this is an urge, it's not a command, it's not a necessity, it's just an urge. Step 2. Observe the urge. Don't try to push it away or ignore it. Instead, observe it without judgment. How does it feel? Where do you feel it? Is it a physical sensation, an emotional tug? Describe it to yourself in as much detail as possible. This mindfulness practice allows you to separate yourself from the urge. Step 3. Visualize the urge as a wave. Picture the urge as a wave in the ocean. It starts as a small ripple, grows into a large wave, and eventually crashes and recedes. Your urge will follow the same pattern. It will intensify, peak, and then slowly fade away. Step 4. Ride the wave. This is where the surfing comes in. Using mindfulness, you can ride this wave of urge without being swept away by it. Acknowledge that it's there, but don't give in. Just as a surfer doesn't attempt to stop or control the wave, you don't need to control or suppress your urge. Instead, let it pass. Remember, the key to urge surfing is not to resist the urge, but to observe and accept it. It's about understanding that urges are temporary and will pass. They are not commands that must be obeyed, but waves that can be surfed. Remember, the key to urge surfing is observation and acceptance, not resistance. Let's take a moment to ride back over the waves we've surfed today. Urge surfing, a mindfulness technique, has been our focus. This approach doesn't fight against cravings or addictions, but rather, it helps us ride them out, just as a surfer rides a wave. We've learned that urge surfing involves observing our cravings as they rise, peak, and eventually fall, without succumbing to them. We've also learned that this technique is rooted in acceptance. Instead of resisting our urges, we learn to accept their presence. This acceptance is the first step towards managing our cravings. We then delved into the steps of urge surfing. Remember, it starts with acknowledging the urge, followed by focusing on how it makes us feel, both mentally and physically. We then visualize the urge as a wave that we're surfing, reminding ourselves that, just like a wave, this urge will rise, peak, and eventually subside. We emphasize the importance of patience in this process. Urges may seem overwhelming at first, but with time and practice, we learn to ride them out without falling off our surfboard. The beauty of urge surfing is its applicability to various forms of cravings and addictions, from food cravings to substance abuse. This technique equips us with the skills to manage these cravings, leading to a healthier and more balanced life. Next time you feel a craving or addiction wave coming, remember to hop on your surfboard and ride it out. You're not fighting the wave, you're surfing it.